Recessions sound terrifying because they strike at the heart of our daily lives. People lose jobs, companies shut down, and the media grows frantic with panic. Right now, experts are warning that 2025 could be more brutal than we've seen in a long time. Even strong businesses are struggling, and entire industries are on edge. Everywhere you look, you hear about layoffs, plummeting stocks, and worrisome statistics that convince most folks to cut their spending and stash their money under the mattress. Yet there's another side to this. Throughout history, every major recession has also produced a wave of new millionaires. When markets collapse, prices fall, and assets get a lot cheaper, giving anyone with a bit of courage and preparation a chance to build real wealth. This year, you can let the headlines freeze you in fear, or you can position yourself so that when everyone else is panicking, you're calmly collecting the best deals and turning a seemingly hopeless crisis into a once-in-a-generation opportunity. How? Let's see it right away. A recession means the economy shrinks for at least 2 quarters in a row. It might not look obvious at first, but once data confirms that production has dropped, unemployment has risen, and consumer spending has dipped, it's already happening. Often these downturns start slowly. Business profits slip, credit gets tighter, and major purchases like cars or homes drop off. Then all at once, headlines sound the alarm. We're in a recession! That official declaration spooks everyone further, causing people to hoard whatever cash they have left. This type of mindset can deepen the crisis because if no one dares invest, the economy can't bounce back. Yet it is in these dark times that fortunes are quietly made. Go back to 2008, when the housing bubble burst. Plenty of investors saw their portfolios cut in half and families lost homes. However, a handful of people bought properties for pennies on the dollar. Others shorted the mortgage market and made staggering sums. Fast forward a few years, and some who took these risky bets emerged extremely wealthy, while the cautious majority never regained what they had before. The same pattern repeated in the early 2000s when the dot-com bubble popped, and in 2020 during the global pandemic. Markets crashed, people screamed, and a brave minority seized the moment. Why does this happen each time? Because high-quality assets get discounted, sometimes beyond all common sense. People stop trusting the market, so they sell their stocks or real estate out of fear. That drives prices down even further, which pushes more nervous sellers to rush for the exits. Eventually, you can pick up genuinely good companies, properties, or other investments at a fraction of their actual worth. Then, as the economy eventually recovers, and it always has so far, those bargains can be worth substantially more. Of course, it takes guts to move in the opposite direction of the crowd. It's never comfortable to invest when everyone else is predicting disaster. But that's precisely why it's lucrative. Before you start snapping up deals, you must have a plan. A recession is not just an abstract idea, it's a messy, unpredictable shift that could last months or years. You have to be able to weather storms in the meantime. That means keeping enough cash on hand so you're never forced to sell your investments early just to cover bills. If you max out your credit cards buying stocks at the first sign of a downturn, you might end up trapped if the market keeps sliding. It's far better to hold steady and deploy funds in increments, what some call dollar cost averaging, so you're buying on the way down without running out of money. Another crucial step is making sure your job or income source can handle a shaky economy. If you sense your company might downsize, try to prepare. Acquire new skills, find a side hustle, or build up a financial cushion so you're less vulnerable if layoffs strike. During recessions, countless people are laid off, only to realize they have no immediate backup plan. That forces them to use credit cards or sell assets for next to nothing. Meanwhile, those who thought ahead keep investing. In short, stable cash flow plus emergency savings are your armor. One of the best strategies for building wealth during a downturn is buying stocks of strong companies that are only temporarily battered by the negative climate. You don't want just any cheap stock that's trending down. Instead, look for businesses with solid fundamentals, stable or growing revenue, manageable debt, real products or services people still need, and the ability to weather a slump. If you don't have time for detailed research, broad market index funds have historically rebounded well after bear markets. In 2008, for instance, many large indexes fell by over 40%. But investors who held or kept buying more shares soon found themselves sitting on huge gains once the economy recovered. Real estate can be another big opportunity. Home prices often sink when rates climb, or when job losses keep buyers on the sidelines. If you can find a good property that cash flows, or that you can comfortably afford, you might come out with a house that's far cheaper than it was just a year before. Rents don't usually collapse as quickly as prices, so it's possible to earn rental income even if you watch your equity wobble on paper. Over time, real estate tends to appreciate, especially if you bought below market value. But again, never buy so aggressively that you can't handle higher mortgage rates, property taxes, or extended vacancies. If you don't have a pile of money to invest, you can still profit from a recession by starting a new business or doubling down on a sideline you've neglected. When the economy slows, it's often easier to strike partnerships or hire talented people who are also looking for new opportunities. It's also possible to pick up assets like equipment, inventory, or online businesses at bargain prices if their current owners need fast cash. In the depths of every recession, new brands often emerge and do extremely well afterward because they set themselves up while resources were cheaper and competition was less aggressive. Your mindset plays a massive role in whether you succeed or fail here. Recessions bring wave after wave of bad news, and it's easy to feel hopeless. Each time you watch a big company declare bankruptcy, you might wonder if your investments are next. People around you might insist on saving every penny in a plain bank account, convinced that everything else is just too dangerous. It's understandable. No one wants to lose money. But historically, those who keep fear at bay and invest prudently in solid assets come out with bigger gains when normal conditions eventually resume. To be clear, none of this means throwing caution to the wind. Doing your research is vital because real losses can happen if you invest in something fundamentally broken. Certain businesses will never recover. We've seen that in previous recessions, where banks or retailers simply collapsed under the pressure. You want to place your money in areas likely to survive and thrive. Recessions are brutal stress tests. The shaky businesses fold, but the strong adapt and dominate. If you choose carefully, you're essentially buying tomorrow's winners at clearance sale prices. Keep an eye on how the government and central banks respond too. They might lower interest rates or approve big stimulus measures to stabilise the economy. Such moves can spark a rebound in stocks or property markets faster than many expect. Or they might tighten policies, which prolongs the slump but also provides a deeper discount for patient investors. Either way, it helps to watch major financial news and see how policy changes could affect your target investments. Just don't let the constant negative headlines shake your resolve if you believe in the fundamentals of what you've bought. Along with investing, focus on controlling your spending. Inflation often stays high in a recession because supply chains get disrupted, currency values fluctuate, and some companies raise prices to offset falling demand. If everything from food to electricity gets more expensive, you'll want to cut out non-essentials. Cancel subscriptions you barely use, negotiate lower rates on bills, and try cooking at home more often. The money you free up can be redirected into your emergency fund or your carefully chosen investments. In times like these, discipline can protect you from having to give up your assets at the worst possible moment. Another point rarely discussed is the emotional toll. When you decide to buy property or stocks during a crisis, it might look brilliant or foolish from day to day. Everyone wants to time the bottom, but that's nearly impossible. The market could keep declining for months, making it look like you made a huge mistake. The trick is to remain calm, stay liquid, and keep adding gradually, rather than throwing everything in at once. Over a longer horizon, say 2, 3, or 5 years, sensible investments in a recession often produce excellent results. But only if you can hold through the dips and avoid panic selling. Your best weapon, beyond having enough saved, is knowledge. Study how markets reacted in past downturns. Notice how some industries, like basic consumer goods or healthcare, are more recession-resistant than others like luxury, retail, or travel. Look at how tech companies sometimes rise, even in a slowdown, if they're indispensable to business operations. Learn to read balance sheets, even just the basics, so you can see if a company is drowning in debt or flush with cash. The more you understand, the less you'll rely on news snippets that provoke anxiety rather than inform. Finally, remember that recessions are cyclical events. While nobody can guarantee exactly how this 2025 storm will unfold, we do know that the economy has expanded again after every prior downturn. When growth returns, asset prices typically climb. People re-enter the market, anxious they missed the chance to buy cheap. The individuals who acted earlier may find their investments have doubled or more. Even if you don't become a multimillionaire overnight, you can significantly raise your net worth if you follow a plan, keep your fear in check, and let time do its job. So yes, the signs are ominous. Some large companies have announced mass layoffs, entire regions are bracing for a pullback, and consumer confidence has dropped off a cliff. You might personally see your workplace cutting hours or your neighbourhood businesses closing. It's painful. But hidden in that chaos lies opportunity for anyone with steady nerves and a bit of capital. Instead of freezing in place, do your homework, put aside emergency savings, and buy strong assets that have been unfairly slammed. By taking these steps, you could emerge from the 2025 recession far stronger and wealthier than you ever expected. And now that you've gotten this far in the video, I can reveal to you the most important secret to getting rich in this recession, which is to subscribe to this channel now and leave a like so you can discover hundreds more real methods to get rich in a world where everything is now uncertain. Thanks for watching the whole video, and I'll see you soon.